Welcome to Seal Beach City Limits. Tonight's special guest, Charles Tentindo. And we're here at the Aurora Theater in Long Beach. Cool, man.
Cool, baby. Nothing but the blues.
All right. American actor Charles Tentindo, and we're at the Aurora Theater here in Long Beach. What a fantastic place this is. Now, Charles, he's an amazing director, a producer. I mentioned an actor. He has done beautiful editing jobs. He's won Telly Awards. He's also a patent holder for a very special musical device. He's a musician. He's a comic. He does everything. Charles, how did you manage to build this theater?
Who are you talking about?
I know.
Who is this guy?
This guy is you, and can you believe you've
Eddie,
been through all that?
you're too kind, man. I've always wanted to create the acting classes and the training that I wish I would have had growing up, right? To have a space to be able to practice on camera acting, improvisation, stand-up, and so I've been able to create the space to do that. It's kind of a dream come true, and it's going really well. We work with actors of all ages. Someone asked me what the age range was, and I said it's 5 to 95, and I've worked with people from those ages, 5 to 95.
Yeah.
You're never too old to try acting as a craft. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful art form.
It is. It's a very special way to go inside yourself and self-realize all of the talent you have within your creative force. And then you help them release that here on that stage. You build up their confidence. You explain to them what their moves should look like, maybe their eye moves, maybe their clothes and things like that. Is that what you do? Or?
Well, listen, acting is about the study of human behavior, why we do the things we do. And so I think as an art form, it's got to be one of the best art forms because you are the instrument. You are what's being expressed. It's your voice, it's your feelings, it's your past, it's so much that comes together. When I first started acting, I was at St. Anthony High School in Long Beach, and I stuttered and I was awkward with people, and that immediately gets you into having to read, having to study literature, and interact with others. So for me, it was a godsend.
So as an actor, and as you became more professional at it, I would imagine then you had some special offers to go out, maybe do casting calls and see if you could become an actor in maybe a TV commercial or a video or a film. Or what was your first act that you did as in film or in video?
Oh boy, the first thing I ever got was an audition for Days of Our Lives, and that turned on to several recurring episodes on that show.
So it's a television show.
Yes, soap opera.
Soap opera. Did you enjoy that?
I loved it. It was very exciting.
How exciting.
And then after that, I got a commercial for Del Taco. David Steinberg directed that. It was very exciting. But I was studying at Long Beach City College, and I was doing a lot of theater. I was in a director's program and video production. And so I was learning all these things behind the camera as well as in front of the camera. And then I got the itch to move to Hollywood because I'd gotten a part. And then I felt it was like the blind leading the blind. You know, I guess this is what you do. You go to Hollywood and you try to get a part and get on a TV show. And I actually, during that time, it was exciting, but I also lost the magic of acting. For me, it was on the stage. And I got very caught up with the business of it, right? And trying to get jobs and such. I was always working behind the camera as a shooter and a director and editor, but I had to negotiate both those sides of the business. But I felt like I lost the magic of what it was that I fell in love with acting. I lost that. So here it is, a full circle several years later, and I have the space to be able to recapture that. Something that ignites for other people that come here is the passion that I once felt, that it actually catches fire for them.
All right, so then, as an actor, your passion was on fire, and you were doing some pretty interesting acting. I heard you were also on one of the Star Trek movies. Is that true?
Yes, I played Ensign Jimenez on Star Trek. It was a very small role, but yes, I was Ensign Jimenez.
And I know a lot of Star Trek fans are always asking questions about it. What's the set like? What was their uniforms like? Wearing their uniforms like?
I found out that there's no zippers in space. No zippers whatsoever.
No zippers.
You'll never see a zipper in space. You'll never see a restroom referred to. You'll never see a restroom in space. And there are no wrinkles for some reason in space. And so when you're wearing that Lycra suit, it is pulled down to the bottom of your feet, and you feel like a stretched sausage. I don't know how to explain it.
It's like a skier's outfit. Yeah,
yeah, it's like skiing, like a skier's outfit. So I found out those things. They gave me a taser. It was beautiful.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Did you get to keep the taser?
No, I tried.
Yeah,
I tried, but they
No. So now you've done some other acting, and you've got into some pretty interesting movies. Tell us what other ones you have done for big screen.
I had a very small role in Clear and Present Danger. I worked several television shows and films and short films, and I shot quite a few of them as well. The last thing I've done is I co-starred in a movie called American Satan.
It's like a rock and roll show in a way.
Yes.
Entertainers, or there was musicians in that group trying to become famous, and the only way they could do it was to sign their life away to Satan.
And Malcolm McDowell kind of played the bad guy there.
Yeah.
That film. I was a Rolling Stones journalist. I played a British Rolling Stones journalist. It was a lot of fun, and I'd been teaching and directing for so long, but I finally decided, it's time for me to audition again, and that came along. So that was great.
But with The Relentless, there was much more to their success than just their songs. What about all the disturbing scenarios surrounding the band?
It's the duality of rock and roll.
And what is that supposed to mean? You're pleading not guilty, claiming temporary insanity. Don't you fear that by saying he was a devil, it will look as if you're mocking the court to the jury?
You don't get it!
Enough with the gimmick. Seriously.
He will keep coming back!
Okay, so you went back and forth with your teaching and then acting, and then you got early into editing and producing and directing, and you probably did advertising, editing for companies and corporations for a while.
Yeah, just like Lisa here, who's operating the camera, and my assistant, it was at City College that I learned all these skills. At Long Beach City College, production and editing and directing. It was great, and I started to make it a living pretty quickly, after that. It was great.
And now you're also an inventor, and you created a musical instrument that I know something about. Let's tell that story.
You were very instrumental in bringing that to fruition, because I had this idea that I wanted to play a vertical keyboard standing up. And kind of a work of art. So I came to you with some sketches, and you were able to help me, make that dream come true. That first iteration of the Zen Riffer came out of Seal Beach Music.
The Zen Riffer, right. The Zen Riffer was a musical instrument with a cello-like body. It was supposed to be a feminine look to it with a ballerina toe, and the controller was actually in the head compartment, and the body was nursed into the stomach area of the cello, and then you'd reach in and you could play and dance with it on stage, and you even thought about performing at Cirque du Soleil?
Yeah, the reason I did it, I was just so inspired. I saw someone that had designed their own instrument, and they were playing it, and I thought I would love to do that. So, 1,200 drawings later, I came up with, these plans, and I came to you, and then it's been through several iterations. But I thought it would be a perfect thing to bring this instrument to Cirque du Soleil and to audition with it. I never did it. I got caught up with making them for other people.
Now, when he says making them for other people, he has taken the first idea, which we kind of considered the Franken lady, because it was a design made just out of wood and plywood with a keyboard designed in it. Then you took it into more of a carbon mold, and then you broke it down and got into a more refined, tribal-looking dancer. It was an amazing piece. We're going to show that in just a second or two, and demonstrate a little bit of that with Charles holding it and performing it with it. And I think that's going to really be nice. I mean, did you have some moves in mind? And like maybe show us one of the moves you might have used if you were going to be...
Well, the idea is that you're able to swing it around and move with it, and maybe walk into the audience with it, right into the camera with it. It just calls attention, It just does.
And if you had two people on stage, you could actually, it could be dancing with the woman, you could be throwing them back and forth to the next.
Yeah, there's a lot of rocking, a lot of cool stuff that you can do with it. And then you could twirl the lady, right, if you wanted, which is kind of cool.
And it's all wireless.
It's all wireless. 500 feet wireless from the stage. The MIDI actually will transmit over 500 feet.
Theater here, I'm noticing there's musical instruments on the wall. We'll take a look at some of the things that are in the theater.
Yeah, I have my grandfather's violin on the wall. That's my father's violin. I have a wonderful cello here that I got from you. And we have trombones and trumpets and bows. This is a magical space. I'm really proud of it.
Let's talk about the theater now. It looks like a old movie theater that you might have in a small town where you go in and maybe there's 50 seats and they have a stage. And by the way, you have a drop-down screen here that you can perform.
So it is in the style of the 1940s, and I have this student. His name is Richard Starley. He's a world-class interior designer, and as I was doing things here and setting up the stage and tearing down walls and creating the space, I asked him for his suggestions as to placement and color, and he saw these beautiful chairs here that I picked up on Craigslist. Do you know that I actually bought 65 of these chairs and I had no idea where I was going to put them? I had fallen in love with the look of these chairs. I had no idea where to store them.
What theater do they come out of?
A theater in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And so I think it took a year to actually find this place, and we put these in here. But anyway, Richard looked at the color of these beautiful chairs, and he said, we're going to take the tones and colors of these chairs, and we will splash them throughout the space. And so he did that, and it came out great. The acoustics here are extraordinary. I could whisper from the back of the stage, and you could actually hear me. Even if my mouth were covered like this, I could whisper. You'd actually hear it. So it's been amazing for musicians, opera singers, jazz musicians, classical people to actually perform here. It's a joy to perform here. It's a beautiful space.
I can see that. In fact, I had the opportunity to perform here at one point.
That's right.
We did a musician showcase, singer-songwriter showcase, and we showcased you on the piano. I had no idea you were such a great pianist. You wrote a song, by the way, too, which is a very nice song, yes. We called it, I think we all were in the audience and named it for you. It was called Traveling.
The traveling song.
Yes.
Okay.
What would you like to tell the audience out there that's listening? Maybe some advice about being an actor, or possibly taking up a career in editing, producing, directing?
I think acting, improvisation, all this is just, it helps inform a life. To be more expressive, to be more communicative, to not be shy, to take chances, to learn, you know, acting for the theater, acting for the camera in movies. We go to the theater and we go to see films to be reminded of what it is to be human. And I'm in love with that part of it. And here you're learning how to really get to know yourself and know what makes human beings tick. It is the most exciting art form to me that's ever existed, and it's been around for a very long time.
Hey man, got an extra cigarette?
It's affected your life, John, more than you realize.
What has?
The alcohol.
Now, I know your father wasn't supposed to be out for 4 more years, but the judge put a restraining order out on him. So he can't come anywhere near this house, or either of you. You understand that? Kat saw you in the garage. That is your future. I'm just simply here to tell you, when you go, you are not doing so as a Lifeline agent. You make a mess, you're on your own. I'm sorry that I'm late. Oh, you got my... Thank you. Thank you. I am sorry that I'm late. I was fleeing a crime scene and I had to make sure that I wrapped up all the loose strings.
The Aurora Theater, I believe, was named after your mother.
Yes.
We'll show a picture of your mother. She is. She's
So,
a nice lady.
There it is.
And thank you so much for your talent, your creativeness, and opening this theater here in Long Beach. And
Eddie, you're gold to this community, man. You bring art. You're all about art. You teach music. You've given people lives. You helped me with the Zen Riffer. You know, some great things that have happened. And you know that keyboard got on the cover of Keyboard magazine.
that's
And
right.
you also know that the first sale went to Maroon 5.
That's right. So that has had a wonderful experience, and so much
And
more.
currently being played by Jordan Rudess of Dream Theater. Probably the most prolific keyboard player maybe in the world. He was a childhood prodigy at Juilliard since he was 10 years old. He was at Juilliard for 10 years as a 10-year-old.
Amazing.
He plays all genres.
I've heard him perform on YouTube, and he is amazing. He's got some real talent.
He does it all.
Bass sound, one of the upright bass sounds in Trillion. And to do that, I can also point out this really, really cool feature that the Zen Riffer has, which is that, I don't know, some of you can see it and maybe some of you cannot, but this instrument can be played as kind of like a guitar thing where I strap it on, or I can have it so that it just stands up, kind of like an upright bass. So let me apologize to any of you who are actually upright bass players, because I'm going to be in that kind of like domain here for a second, and kind of like vibing out in that way. So I think it's the closest that a keyboard player can get to, because you got the vibe of this instrument standing like this, looking all pretty, and you got the really amazing sound. All right, yeah, it gets you in the spirit, you know? This is cool. When Charles first showed this to me, I wasn't quite, I don't know. I think he had this vision a long time ago. I didn't quite get it, but now standing here, you know, I feel it. I'm feeling the love.
That keyboard
Thank you,
can
Jordan,
scream.
for putting us on the map.
Yes. So we're going to let you go
Thank
up.
you
and
for putting
of
putting
course.
us on the map.
You know, I'm happy to put anybody on the map if I can on this planet. Leave them with something to talk about. Leave them with something to feel good about, you know, because that's what it's all about, giving.
I worked with one of your friends once. You brought me Richard Hastings.
Richard Hastings, yeah.
Yeah. And
he's quite a performer.
We did a music video for him here.
We did, which is you can see on YouTube too, called Another Life. Fate Cuts Like a Knife.
Fate Cuts Like a Knife.
And you produced that, directed that, edited that, and it's a really nice presentation. Thank you for mentioning that.
Maybe should have stayed with my high school sweetheart. Maybe should have raised 4 kids in Monterey. Maybe should have never left the meadows of Montana. Maybe I'd be singing sweet bluegrass today. Ooh, 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 ooh. Maybe should have raised some hell in New York City. Maybe should have stayed on that job down in LA. Maybe should have never left the workday nitty-gritty. Problem is, well, I'd be someone else today. 'Cause that's another song, that's another plan, another book, another man, that's another life. And fate cuts like a knife. Fate cuts like a knife. Probably should have never left that table in Las Vegas. Probably should have never left that lady in Spain. Pobrecita, me hace falta. But God knows I would have never been the same. Oh. It's anybody's guess. Take a right or take a left. Head down the highway right at the light, or straight ahead. It's anybody's guess if I could have changed tomorrow. Problem is, I'd be someone else instead. 'Cause that's another song, that's another plan, that's another book, another man, that's another life. Fate cuts like a knife. If you really stop and think about it, if you really wanna know, ain't no doubt about it, it's way beyond our control. 'Cause it's another song, it's another plan, another book, another man, it's another scene, another dream, another game that ain't the same. It's another fight, ain't no glory living somebody else's story. It's another life. Fate cuts like a knife. Fate cuts. Fate cuts like a knife. You know that's how she rolls. Fate cuts like a knife. Fate cuts like a knife.
Didn't want to forget that one.
Well, we'd like to thank the Cable Foundation Company for this time here and the experience we've had here with Charles Tentindo, the American actor, producer, director, editor, and many other talents. And thank you all for watching Seal Beach City Limits.
Thank you, Eddie. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Charles.
Thanks for being my friend.
My pleasure, my friend.